not dissociating to escape my current reality, but trying to be productive, but also give myself grace for the lack of it, and feeling like I have nothing to do, but also so much at the same time. I've been so all over the place recently. Like, the highs and the lows are so real.
So I'm editing this right now, and watching this back has me cringing so hard because I'm so dramatic for not I'm not going to say for no reason, because I know everything I was feeling at the time was very real and very intense. But girl, if you're cringing, just know I'm right alongside you. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Okay. Anyways.
And it's scary knowing that my days are unpredictable. Like, I don't know. I don't have control. I know I do have control over, like, my thoughts and all of that, but, like, waking up in a bad mood or just heaviness just feels irreversible some days. I feel like I'm spiraling. I feel like I feel empty and want everything to just pause, like just life to pause for a second so I can like recollect myself. But that kind of goes into the whole idea of like me and people not being a work in progress. Like, I don't need to be constantly fixing myself. I can be and live as I am and still be enough. Okay, I literally have to sit in my passenger seat because this is the only place in my car that has an acceptable place for my phone to be. So, hello. I wanted to have a little chat because those clips that just played were from a couple months ago. They were from December. It's now like mid-February, and I just want to say, like, it's not like an end-all be-all. It's not like, oh, you figure out positivity and you're suddenly cured and you're suddenly happy and like all of that, but it does pay off when you put in the work. And I thought I knew what the work was. Like, I thought I knew that by investing in myself and spending time alone and doing all these like self-care things, that I like knew what I was doing. And it obviously does help. Like, I'm not saying that those like are a waste at all, but I was in a really, really low place when I filmed that, and it's so easy to have a pessimistic outlook when you're in that place. And like, I know it's so corny, but like, positivity really does make a difference, and just having perspective is huge. So I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit if you're feeling like you're in a low place, or if you just like never know how to get yourself out of that. Because I mean, who knows, I could wake up tomorrow and be in a bad mood, and like I said, like, it's not an end all be all, but I feel like I am figuring out how to navigate things differently and how to like prevent myself from spiraling and just kind of getting out of my own way. In those videos, or in those clips, I was dealing with some boy issues, we should say. I don't know how to categorize that. It's not heartbreak. It definitely was not That's very dramatic to call it that. My feelings are so, like, crazy deep when I'm really, really feeling like I be going through it, and I am such an overthinker that I will analyze every possible scenario. I will go into the depths of my subconscious, like raking stuff out, raking out memories that I didn't even know existed, when I'm in like a certain situation with someone and like it ends, whatever. Having a positive mindset works wonders because you can't change the situation. You can only change how you like think and feel about it. I think I actually did mention this, like the only thing you can control are your thoughts. You can't control any outcome. You can't control how someone's feeling or not feeling. I have made it like kind of my goal for the new year, one of my New Year's resolutions, I guess, which isn't like really a resolution because it's not something that I'm trying to just like hit and then be done with. It's literally like a lifestyle, and it takes work and discipline to like, you know, keep yourself aligned with it. But just optimism as a whole, I feel like it is credited as something that's super like corny and cheesy and like happy-go-lucky, like only a certain personality type fits with that. I guess you don't realize how truly pessimistic you are until you really analyze how you react to things, because I, for the longest time, had considered myself an optimistic person and like a positive person as a whole, because I'm very much a believer in everything happens for a reason, and I guess that was like the main thing that kind of like kept that mindset, like thinking that I'm a positive person. But I feel like that was kind of a mantra I would like put as like a blanket on situations that would kind of perpetuate a sort of like dissociation or just detachment from it as a whole. Like it wouldn't really let me like process my feelings. And I still do believe that everything happens for a reason, but I feel like when you say that with like a, let's say, since we were talking about breakups earlier, let's say you are going through a breakup and that has been something you're telling yourself, everything happens for a reason. I feel like if you say that too much, it just kind of disregards like the things that you might be feeling, or like why it ended, or I don't know, just like it prevents you from like looking at like the deeper, like digging deeper. Yeah, I don't know, me personally, maybe you go about it differently, but that's kind of how I feel like I would navigate that. I have been trying to separate that a little bit, and like knowing that everything happens for a reason while still feeling everything. I'm trying to figure out where I was going with that, and I honestly don't know. I really do not know how my mind works sometimes. So I don't know, we're just gonna kind of scratch that last part because I don't know where I was going with it, like I said. That being said, I do believe everything happens for a reason. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I guess what I'm trying to say is that by saying everything happens for a reason, it's kind of like emotional bypassing in a sense. It's important to feel everything, and as your emotions are coming up, to not judge them and just see them for what they are and just like feel them without attaching thoughts to it. That's a big thing for me. Let's say a feeling of like anger is coming up towards a situation. It is so easy to attach a narrative to that and, you know, think of all the reasons why you're angry instead of just feeling the anger. Obviously, like going through those scenarios and all of that is a form of processing, and it's natural to do that. But I will say that like after a while, having those emotions coming up and then continuing to attach the stories with it just like perpetuates the emotion instead of just allowing the emotion to kind of just like wash over you and just like feeling it. And that's something that I've been practicing a lot recently, because emotions are just energy in motion. Emotion, energy in motion. I learned that from some like Joe Dispenza book, I think. And that's part of the healing process. But then you can get to a point where your mind is so used to like thinking those narratives, feeling those emotions, and like all of those things when you're like in the process of like dealing and like healing with the situation, that it just becomes its new normal. Like I've found myself like waking up already thinking about whatever the situation was, or if it's not a situation, just like waking up and like your mind reminding yourself that you're depressed or whatever, you know. And it's like, goddamn, can't catch a break. Literally a second into consciousness and you're already like blown back into your reality. Your mind doesn't know the difference between your past and your current reality. And whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're constantly like ruminating over, that's what it thinks you're currently going through. And that's why you can feel your emotions just as deeply as if you were there in the moment, because when you think about a moment and you're like visualizing it, your mind thinks that's what you're currently going through. Does that make sense? I don't know how to put these things into words. It's like I have the whole concept in my mind and I hope it's like coming out correctly and it's making sense. I'm pretty sure it's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. Please check that out if you're interested in like this whole concept. But it really has changed my way of thinking, because when I find myself, like when I catch myself going over a certain situation that happened like months ago or even just a month ago or whatever, I have to like cut the cord and just be like, I'm done thinking that. Like I am moving on from that. I'm like done. I wholeheartedly like believe, well, I don't think it's a belief, I think it just like is, but like the whole theory about like the 5 closest people in your life, or like the 5 people that you surround yourself most with in your life, like make up who you are. And I feel like that's like your thoughts too, like whatever prominent situation is happening or things around you, like the things that you think about the most, your top 5 things or whatever, make up who you are. And if you're constantly thinking about this certain situation, you're not moving on, you're not living in the present, you're living in the past. Yeah, so kind of coming to that realization, turning a new leaf a little bit, realizing that every day that you wake up truly is a clean slate. You don't have to associate with your emotions or even your identity from the day before, because that's the past. Your current reality is your present reality, and that's all that exists. That really is all that exists. Plain and simple. There's no other time than right now. Like that's a choice you have to make, and that's something that you have to constantly like remind yourself of. But it's possible, and I feel like it really has made a difference for me to wake up, and when I feel those thoughts start to creep in, or like when they are creeping in, I like find myself like already thinking of a person or a situation or feeling a certain feeling, just like realizing that like that doesn't have to affect me and doesn't have to have like such a hold over me as I'm allowing it to, because my mind still thinks it's like as real as ever because I'm still thinking about it. But when I kind of tune in to like my surroundings and like take a moment and I'm like, no, in this moment I am okay. Like I'm only not okay because I'm reliving that, but I don't have to relive that. Like I really don't. And it's all up to me to make that decision for myself. I know it was kind of a lot, and it definitely takes a lot of time to like really register it, because I feel like I've known these concepts for so long, but then like putting them into practice and like constantly like calling yourself out, I guess, like day after day is a struggle. But you build such like a deep like trust for yourself, because it's really you holding yourself accountable. In a way, it kind of ties into like becoming your own best friend, because at the end of the day, like you're with yourself for the rest of your life. No matter who is in your life, no matter if you're in a relationship and you spend every single day with them, like at night and everyone's asleep, you're with your mind, you're with your thoughts, and you can't escape that. Like you're with you always, you know. So I definitely feel like I've been having a really, like, a better relationship with myself after, you know, kind of navigating that. And not to say that I don't still think about certain things on a daily basis, but they just don't have as much weight on me anymore, and I'm able to, like, dismiss them and not let them, like, ruin my day. Yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else to say. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you